Hello everyone, and welcome back to Easy English Stories. Today, we have something special, a story about sports, winning, and honesty. Have you ever played a game where someone didn't follow the rules? Let's talk about what really matters in sports and learn some new words together. Feel free to share your thoughts or questions with us after the episode.
Hi listeners, I'm excited to join you for this important conversation. Our story today explores why people sometimes care more about winning than playing fairly. As we go, we'll pause to explain new words and phrases so you can really understand each part. Are you ready to get started?
Let's begin with a famous American saying, "It doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game." This means having fun and showing good sportsmanship is more important than winning. But sometimes, things are not so simple.
That's true. In American sports, people often become very focused on their favorite teams. This leads us to our first vocabulary word, obsession. Now, let's explain that word.
Obsession means thinking about something or someone all the time, almost like you can't stop. For example, if you check your team's score every hour, you might have an obsession with sports. Do you know someone like that?
Besides obsession, another factor is the money and prestige that comes with winning. Prestige means having a good reputation or high status. When winning brings these rewards, it puts extra pressure on players and coaches to focus only on victory.
Exactly. With so much pressure, sometimes people forget about honesty. Instead, they want to win at any cost, even if it means breaking the rules. This leads to our next word, penalize. Let's talk about that.
To penalize means to punish someone for breaking a rule. For example, if a player cheats, the referee can penalize them by taking away points or making them leave the game. Speaking of referees, do you know what that word means?
A referee is a person who makes sure everyone follows the rules in a game or sport. In soccer, the referee blows a whistle when someone does something wrong. Now, sometimes referees have to impose punishments. Let's explain impose.
To impose means to make someone accept a rule or punishment using your authority. For example, if a player breaks the rule, the referee imposes a penalty. But what happens when referees don't act strictly enough?
Good question. Sometimes, cheating becomes common, and people start to accept it as part of the game. A professor, Dr. Frey, called this normative cheating. Let's stop here and explain normative.
Normative means something is seen as normal or the usual way to do things. So, normative cheating means cheating that is commonly accepted, even though it's still unfair or sneaky.
That's interesting. So, if everyone cheats in a small way, it starts to feel normal, even if it's not right.
Exactly. Coaches and players sometimes look for loopholes in the rules. Now, let's explain loophole. A loophole is a small mistake or gap in a rule that lets people avoid obeying it.
For example, if a rule says you can't send a letter, but you send a picture with a tiny note, you are using a loophole. It's not really honest, but it's not directly breaking the rule. This shows how creative people can be when they want to win.
Let's talk about some techniques used in sports. Technique is our next word. It means a special way to do something using skill or knowledge.
For example, in soccer, a player might use a secret technique to kick the ball so it curves around the wall. In our story, players use techniques to trick opponents or the referee. Can you think of a technique you use in games?
Some tricks in sports are physical, like making the other team feel sluggish. Sluggish means slow or lazy, like when you're tired. For example, teams might make the visitors' locker room very hot to make players sluggish.
Other tricks are psychological, like painting the locker room pink to make players less aggressive. Aggressive means ready to fight or act forcefully. Pink can make people feel less strong, so teams use this color as a psychological trick.
Sometimes people obey only the letter of the law. This idiom means following the exact words of a rule, but not its real purpose. For instance, moving to a new house just to play for a better team is following the letter of the law, but not the spirit.
That's a great point. People can find ways to follow the rules exactly, but still act unfairly. It makes us think, should we care only about the rules, or about doing the right thing?
All of this shows how important sportsmanship and honesty are not just in sports, but in life, too. When we focus only on winning, we might forget what's really important, playing fairly and respecting others.
Yes, and this idea connects to our daily lives. Sometimes, people try to find shortcuts or loopholes at work or school. But if everyone did that, would it be fair? It's important to think about how our actions affect others, whether we're playing a game or living our lives. Now, let's do a quick review of today's new words. First, obsession. He has an obsession with football, he talks about it every day.
Next is penalize. The referee will penalize players who break the rules. The referee blew the whistle to stop the game.
Impose. The coach will impose extra practice for mistakes. Normative. Normative cheating is common in sports. Loophole. They found a loophole in the rules.
Technique. She has a special technique for running fast. Sluggish. After lunch, I feel sluggish. Aggressive. He is an aggressive player. The letter of the law. He followed the letter of the law, but not the spirit.
Now it's your turn to think. Have you ever seen someone use a loophole or break the spirit of the rules, even if they followed the letter of the law? What do you think is more important, winning or playing fairly? Share your answer with us, we'd love to hear your story.
Yes, we enjoy reading your ideas. Remember, every situation is different, and your thoughts help us all learn together. Don't be shy, your English doesn't have to be perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, learning English is like playing a game. It's not about being perfect, but about trying your best and enjoying the process. If you make mistakes, that's okay. It means you're learning.
Keep practicing, keep asking questions, and don't be afraid to speak up. Every word you learn brings you closer to fluency. See you next time, and keep your English strong and your spirit positive.
Here's a final tip. Try to use today's new words in your own sentences. The more you use them, the easier they'll become. Take care, and see you in our next episode.